And yeah, here we go. Thus starts EU Arms Challenge number 109 with Penzo versus Yoshi Bowser. Yeah, please let me know if the game sounds okay. It seems to be okay. Yeah, we're good. So yeah, Penzo here going with the buff and the Glosher. Glosher always an interesting arm because of the trajectory it can take. I don't think it's going to really take Yoshi off guard though. Meanwhile, Yoshi has good old Siki on the right and a slap on the left. Slap-a-mander. Siki's pretty good obviously to actually shut down your opponent, but it is high risk, high reward. A little bit slow, it does have good aiming. Ooh, and Yoshi unfortunately is going to miss the Oki rush here, the wake up rush. Penzo gets the grab. Stuck a little bit in the corner, but he's going to continue to pressure Yoshi, and that's going to be the first round going to Penzo. Already settling in, like, this should be a pretty even match overall, so there's that. And yeah, this is first to two, chat, just for now. Oof! Bark coming in from the save! On Yoshi's side. We love Bark here. We do love Bark here. Yeah, Penzo still continuing to pressure Yoshi in the corner here. Going to get some nice little extensions. Bark still getting some good hits. And so far, it really feels like Bark is playing more than Yoshi in this matchup. Honestly. Ooh, good catch though with the Siki here from Yoshi. Yoshi trying to use the slap to completely control space. As you would with the slap. And Penzo going for the air rush, but Yoshi is going to go for the counter rush. Gonna manage to get one half of the rush. Still does some good damage because it's Siki, but the Tri-Blast is going to take the first game for Penzo. But yeah, Penzo already getting right into the game. Like, sure, we haven't... I don't know how much the players have played since the last tournament, honestly. But it's like, you do feel like Penzo still got it, you know? He still got it. So that's nice. And Yoshi is going to take it to Ninja College. Which I think is an interesting pick. I feel like Bite and Bark could do decent on Ninja College overall. Trying to shut down Kid Cobra's movement. Especially with the set that Yoshi's been using so far in the set. So I think this might be actually a really good choice. Like, Ninja College is rather narrow, all things considered. And it's going to be a question though, who gets the top side first? Because that obviously gives you some early positional advantage, and Yoshi is going to be on the top side first. But yeah, immediately Yoshi using the Biffler, honestly. I mean, Biffler is a good anti-air, but I don't know how well it would catch Cobra's movement. Still, it's doing some work so far. It is definitely doing the work. And Penzo is respecting Bark much more in this match. In this set. When Yoshi is going to be able to find the punish here with the rush as well. Yoshi in a very good position. Penzo, however, is going to be able to deflect that Slap-a-mander with the rush. Just barely. And going to be able to get a punish to get back into the game. And yeah, I feel like Penzo right now is kind of using Bark to actually hide his own approach. Like, Bark kind of working against Yoshi here. And the arm is down on Yoshi's side. It's gonna be really tough here. Kind of stuck on that top ledge. We have Yoshi trying to get a cheeky slap here. But we have Bark still coming in for the save to help Penzo. Penzo's gonna be very careful about Bark. And yeah, unfortunately, he knocks out the wrong opponent. And he's going to get completely hit by the Biffler. Yoshi Bowser making the adjustments he needed to stay in that match. But now has to contend with working from the bottom side. That's the big thing. You can see that Penzo is trying to go for Bark a little bit more here. Knowing that Bark has been giving him some trouble. But Yoshi is very well aware of that and is trying to punish the overcommitment, while still managing to keep Bark into the equation. Very nice grab though here by Penzo. Penzo getting some good hits in with the Tri-Blast. And yeah, making his approach. Now both on the top ledge. And the rush trade is going to be won by Penzo, who is now on match point. Very nicely done. Obviously, the Glosher being a little being heavier than Yoshi's arms is going to cause the rush trade to actually win out on Penzo's side. Penzo's shield right now is low because his left arm is very low on health. Very nice grab here. Penzo in full control disables Bark to get some time in. Bark is going to take a lot of time as well to get back to Yoshi Bowser. There he is. Ninja College is a pretty big stage in terms of depth, we'll say. Yoshi taking back the top side. Trying to keep Penzo in that bottom lip. And gets the air, well, not confirmed, but the air catch with the rush as well. Thanks to that Biffler's enormous vertical hitbox. But yeah, Penzo's arms are very low. Both arms disabled. That's going to be a grab, a free grab for Yoshi. And yeah, Penzo trying to go for a cheeky explosion confirmed, but unfortunately going to get betrayed by his own Tri-Blast. And now Yoshi Bowser still has the advantage, the positional advantage here. Penzo is fighting for his life. Does have Bark disabled for a bit, but Bark is going to be able to come back without too much consequence. Yoshi trying to go for chip damage. 7 seconds on the clock. It could be anyone's game. Yoshi just has to play very defensively, but Penzo right now has the advantage, and Penzo is going to be able to take it with just a sliver of HP on top of everything. Very nicely done by Penzo, who's going to be able to move on to the next round. Yeah, just that smidge of health made all the difference. Yeah, for Penzo. Unfortunately, Yoshi Bowser getting hit in the last few seconds means we won't go to a game free, but it is what happens. And now we're going to move on to the next match, which is going to be Beppe or Gerardo against Anasui. I have like no data on Anasui in the software. That is that's great. But yeah, obviously Beppe or Gerardo, as you'll see on screen, because, you know, challenge, is a Min-Min player. And as I like to say, you may know Min-Min from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's the joke I like to make. I'm sorry, chat. That is the joke I like to make. I have very bad humor. But yeah, obviously very strong player for Italy. Does very well overall. So there's that. I still think it's topical, honestly, to say. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's quite an annoying character on Ultimate Wi-Fi. Thankfully, in ARMS, like, isn't as big of an issue. It still is, mind you, it still is. Like, you still have arms going through people all the time if you're very far away from your opponent or you have, you know, bad Wi-Fi. But it is still very much closer to rollback netcode than whatever Smash Ultimate is doing, which is like extra delay! And meanwhile, what I'm looking at is that Yam is going to be moving on to win the semis against JK. And Rifa waiting for and yeah, we're just gonna gentleman to Temple Grounds. As any good European would do. We're going to Europe. But yeah, honestly playing Ninjara then. We are going to see the Ninjara come up on the scene, and Ninjara is always a very interesting character. Beppe is going to use the Min-Min. Also has a pretty good Min-Min to be fair, so that's good. And Ninjara obviously is a pretty interesting character because of his teleport. That does mean he cannot do regular blocking, because when you hit his shield, he's just gonna teleport. And that means he's very disadvantaged sometimes against rushes. If he doesn't teleport in the right direction. And so far, both players playing very defensively. We do have Anasui trying to control a little bit the stage with that Phoenix. Trying to also go for the anti-air arm with the Hydra. And I would argue that Hydra is a little bit more potent in that regard than Biffler. So definitely not a bad pick. But so far, Gerardo does have the pace of the match on hand. Like, just gonna go really slow, going to poke from time to time with the popper. And potentially, I think fish for a rush confirmed, potentially. Like, you could get a pretty good win confirmed if you have the right angle on the charged popper hit. But so far, like, Bippe really doesn't need to use rush, honestly. That's the big thing. Like, Bippe is completely in his element right now. Very nice grab though by Anasui. But it's not going to be enough. Like, we have 7 seconds on the clock. There's no way you come back unless you spend the rush. And I would argue that it's not the time to spend the rush on Anasui's side. So we're just going to move on to round 2. And now, what I am seeing is that the pillars, at least most of them, yeah, all of the pillars are gone. So maybe we're going to go a little bit more aggressive. We're already seeing that with Bippe switching to the double Sparky. Obviously, Sparky, one of the old reliables. We do know that glove arms are pretty powerful in this game. Very fast arms, very reliable. Sparky, though, is going to be very weird because the stun time on them, despite being electric, the electricity element does have stun time. But it is one of the shortest stun times in the game in terms of the shock attribute on Sparky. Yeah, we're already seeing Gerardo using a little bit more of an aggressive pace. He is going to fall back right here. But so far, we are seeing a very even round 2. Bippe being very... going for a lot of roll rushes here. Trying to catch I don't know what. But he is going, and yeah, honestly here is going to get punished by a rush that was a little bit too wide here. But still, very good Sparky hit into the grab. Still does some good damage if you're close by. That's the big thing. Yeah, and just barely at the end of that stun time gets the grab on Bippe's side. And yeah, another Sparky into stun, and that's going to be it. That's going to be first point to Bippe. We have very, very dominant. Very dominant showing so far from Beppe. We did see Anastri get back into the game in that second match. But once Beppe got those few Sparky hits, it was kind of over, honestly. It's kind of scary. Yeah, Beppe is just doing really well, honestly. He's been improving every day. He's one of these players who's been improving every day, and we love to see it. And now it is Anasri's pick in the stage list. We're gonna go sparring ring. We're gonna go very, very aggressive here. Match is probably gonna look like a Tekken 8 match. With how aggressive games can be on sparring ring. So we'll see how it goes. I do think Ninjara might benefit a little bit more from a more aggressive playstyle. But Ribbon Girl is still a very, very slippery character to catch. So there's still that to consider. That being said, Bipid is a master of counterpicking, and Anasri is going to use the DNA man, the Helix. Right here. A good old roaster, like roaster on Helix, always a good choice. It is always a good choice. Because it's so damn fast, you still need to aim it, because it's one of the few arms that has no auto aim. But it is so fast and so strong that it really doesn't matter. Especially on a character like Helix, which can just tower above you. It is a really potent arm. And we do have the Bolt, which is like the Euro classic. Meanwhile, Beppe going for a double slap, which is a strategy I respect and would pretty much easily shut down the Helix in most cases. But Anastri is going to be able to find that rush. Being very slippery, manages to avoid the rush despite flubbing punishes all over. Like, it really felt like Anastri was just fishing for a punish here. And wasn't able to get it. I wasn't expecting the rush to hit at any time. And yet the blower is going to catch Beppe on the landing, ensuring that Anastri gets around in this match. Now going into round 2. Anastri not changing the setup. Beppe going to go for the popper once again for those spokes and potentially those win confirms as well. I feel like the win confirms would be a little bit more consistent overall on sparring. Just because the stage is more quote-unquote predictable. So that will help. So far, Anastri again being very slippery. And catching with the second half of the rush as well. It gets 215 damage, it's not that great, but we'll take it nonetheless. And now Beppe seems a little bit lost in this array of arms. But immediately popping the rush, kind of blind here. And still manages to get the hit on Anastri to get back into the match. And yeah, very good popper hit. Again, we're gonna use the popper here to get some good pokes in. Anastri still able to be very slippery and managing the high change very well. Unfortunately, the rush here is going to get blocked. Beppe is on his last leg, going to have rush very soon, but the grab is going to ensure that Anastri is going to get that game in. And now we have a 1-1 situation with Beppe's counter pick being on play. And I do have to wonder what the counter pick is going to be at this point. Obviously, we still need to wait for Anastri's ban first. But I do think Beppe would be a little bit more in his element if he went back to a more defensive stage right now. The aggressiveness of the and the slipperiness of the Helix seems like it's a little bit hard for BP to deal with. I mean, we don't have that many Helix players, to be fair, in Europe, so maybe it's just a matter of matchup experience. It happens, you know? But we'll see. We shall see how it goes. So yeah, let's see. Maybe still thinking on the counter pick. I think maybe the 2 stage bans from Anasui didn't like. And Anasui is going to change to Bite and Bark apparently as well. Which I'm not sure what the strategy is. I guess to mix up the pacing. I feel like the Helix was just working very well for Anasui. And we are going to go to Via Dolce for the next game. And yeah, I definitely think Via Dolce will be a much better pick for Bepe, for a more defensive playstyle like Bepe's. Gonna be able to hide in those corners more easily. But at the same time, the corner pressure on Via Dolce is insane because, as a good man once said, Via Dolce is just corners. It is a stage that is just corners. So obviously you're always gonna get pressured if you get stuck. And honestly, going with the Ice Dragon and the Nade. Nade, obviously, again, a very strong arm, as would all the glove arms be. And yeah, the Ice Dragon is going to be, I think, interesting and important to actually control space as much as possible. I feel like just actually the Ice Dragon might do some interesting shenanigans, honestly, on Via Dolce, because you could just place the Ice Dragon right into those spectator stands. But so far, Bepe is going to start applying a lot of corner pressure in that little lip. And as we're going for the rush, and not getting too many hits, I'm not too sure what happened here. But I guess that's just because, you know, arms is physics-based, and sometimes you just don't want extended physics. Very good punish, though, however, on that footstool from Anasui. And yeah, Bepe recognizing that he cannot let Bark do anything really fancy. Well, Anasui is trying to, I feel, use Bark for height quite a bit right now. Literally circling around Bark, if anything. Right now it is not working. And we have 8 seconds on the clock. Anasui trying to go for a counter-offensive and gets the rush in order to take that round. And that is a round completely stolen by Anasui, who's going to be able to go on to match point. You know what, Bepe is going back on the offensive immediately. Well, Anasui avoids the rush, but unfortunately is going to fall down right back in it after missing the punish. Now Anasui is getting corner pressured Needs to find a way out of here. So trying to go for the grab on wake up. Doesn't get the timing right. Yeah, Bip is still applying a lot of corner pressure here. Foot stall, another foot stall from Anasui. Just playing with Bark as much as possible. We're gonna pet the dog. We need to pet the dog as much as possible on Anasui's side. Unfortunately, Bippe is not going to let that happen. And unfortunately, the rush here was a very bad decision from Anasui, as Bippe is going to be able to get his own rush in. Bark is down. Anasui still stuck in the corner. Needs to find a way out. Is not even close to rush. And yeah, that is going to be very much a done deal for Bippe. And now we're going to into the final round. And once again, Bippe back on the corner pressure train. And recognizing as well that Anasui is using Bark way too much. Like, way too much. Getting way too predictable. Like, once again, Anasui just foot-stalling and petting the dog as much as possible. But it is not a viable strategy when you just keep doing it. And so Anasui is just going to calm down there. Anasui managing to find the rush, not going to be able to get the second half there because of physics. The grab is going to get countered here. I think Anasui would benefit a lot to actually getting the grab. The grab he's going to get completely countered. 340 damage from Bippe. This could be it for Anasui, and yeah, this is going to be it. The Hydra is going to, the slap I guess, is going to take another victim here, and that is going to be Bippe moving on to winner semis. But yeah, still very good showing though from Anasui. Overall. But unfortunately it is going to be a victory for Bippe. And that does mean our next match is going to be a winner semis match. We're going to see Penzo versus the man, the myth, the legend, Rifa. Of course, always in these tournaments, Rifa is the man to kill. It is going to be interesting to see if Bippe has any kind of answer. Not Bippe, Penzo has any kind of answer here. So yeah, we shall see. I also wonder what Riff is going to play today. Obviously, Riff has been playing a lot of Misengo and Ninjara. But we do know that Riff also has like a hand on every character in the game. Especially at European level. But sometimes it's just the hubris getting the better of him. I think a character that just doesn't work. And yeah, Rifa is going to go for the Kid Cobra mirror here. Trying to shut down Penzo at his own game. Sorry, chat. Yeah, Penzo with the clapback Cobra. Very hard set to use overall, but still a very potent one. Because that clapback curve is so big that you kind of have to work around it, but at the same time it does shut down one of Kid Cobra's other main advantages, which is his speed. Meanwhile, Rifa is going to go with the Lockjaw N. the revolver. Which is definitely an atypical set. I will say Lockjaw is still very good overall. I would argue that it is high risk, high reward just because of that explosion attribute. It's also one of the few actual projectiles in the game. And Revolver also has a very good attribute, which is electricity, but it is a little bit unreliable to hit with, in my experience, and also has rather short stun time overall. But so far it is working for Riffa. Like the pokes overall aren't even coming from the Revolver. I feel like Penzo right now is respecting the Revolver maybe a little bit too much and getting hit by a lot of the Lockjaw, from what I can tell from this first round. Now going to round 2, Penzo immediately going to spend the rush here in this round opener for 315 damage, but unfortunately is going to get paralyzed right after. And again, Riffa able to stack up the damage pretty quickly by just being close by and getting those charged Revolver hits. And now he can afford to play a little bit more defensively. But Penzo is much closer overall in the previous round, starting to adapt to Riffa's rhythm, but this time he's not actually respecting the Revolver enough, funnily enough. Like we were talking earlier about Penzo respecting the Revolver too much, and now it's becoming a problem, because he's not respecting the Revolver enough and getting stunned for it. Also getting anti-aired for it, and hard knockdown. And Riffa is going to go for the chip damage here with this rush. Penzo trying to go for a cheeky punish with the rush. Going to get the second half in order to get back into the game. That's 125 damage. Still pretty good, but he is going to get shot down here by the Revolver. And that is a 102 Riffa so far. But yeah, Penzo definitely adapting to the pacing of Riffa here pretty well. Unfortunately, it was not enough. We're gonna have to see if Riffa decides to switch character or stays with the Cobra Mirror. As we're going to go to DNA Lab, it would seem like Riffa is going to stick with the Cobra. But Penzo is going to switch to the Spring Man. To the Spring Dude. Which should make for an interesting match. After all, Springman is a pretty strong character, does have access to Rage Mode when under 25% health, which is always a nice boost, and does have access to Deflect on his dash in order to potentially reflect those pesky Revolver hits that Penzo has so much of a hard time actually getting the right pacing on how to respect, where to respect and where not to. Penzo right here is going to just play around the pillars of DNA Lab. That is one pillar down. And Riffa trying to go for a cheeky confirm here, but unfortunately did not have the Lockjaw charge. So he won't be able to get an explosion confirm off of this. Still, Penzo's arms are slowly recovering. Now Penzo is in Rage Mode. Now has full permanent charge, but it will not be enough, and that's going to be a perfect from Riffa. Wasn't even paying attention to the health bar from Riffa. Now Riffa making a statement. He still got it. Ladies and gentlemen, he still got it so far. And yeah, that's another Revolver hit. Riffa obviously very familiar with the Springman matchup. And it is one of the easier characters to use overall. And Penzo finally getting a hit, but unfortunately getting punished here on that rush. by Rifa. Just being able to kind of jump over it. Still got a hit, but the trade was in favor of Rifa because of that. And now Penzo is in rage mode again. And yeah, Rifa going on the offensive again. It looks very grim right now for Penzo, who's on his last leg. And yeah, Rifa's just gonna pop out rush. Gonna do a lot of chip damage, but instead it's going to catch the dash guard from Penzo right in the face. That was the wrong timing, and unfortunately for Penzo, that is going to be the match. And Rifa's going to be able to move on to winners finals with a solid 2-0. And so right after that, let's just check in on the other winner semi, which is going to be Beppe versus Yam. Which should also make for a very interesting matchup. Potentially Ribbon Girl versus Lollipop. Like, I feel like, to be fair, Yam does have a few characters. He's got a Lollipop, he's got the Min Min. We'll see what comes out against Beppe. I do have a good feeling that the Lollipop would come in. But you never know, you never know. Looking at the wrong bracket here. I'm looking at the wrong bracket here. And so we're kind of waiting on the bands. I don't know which stage I would want to land on in this matchup. Just to make it even, I guess we could just go to good old Mausoleum. No, Mausoleum was going to get banned here. I mean, to be fair, I do think the ban on Mausoleum from Yan makes sense. Because, to be fair, Mausoleum, if the trampoline opens, then Ribbon Girl just has a straight advantage. And Yam's gonna go for the Master Mommy! Okay. Definitely, potentially the worst character in the game. But still, we can make it work. Like, he does have health regeneration, which is kind of how you make a heavy with higher health in a game where everyone has the same health bar. But it's still going to be very difficult for Yam to fight, in my opinion, a very evasive Ribbon Girl with lots of movement tricks, as a big body on a stage as small as sparring ring. It's like, I can see why Yam would want it, if only just for the aggression and for the free 205 damage grabs as well. But I'm still not convinced because, like, Mummy just has a huge hitbox. Well, hurt box. And Beppe is going to easily find rushes like these, for instance, where you can just catch from the side. But Yam is going to be able to answer back with a massive 390 damage rush. But yeah, so far it's kind of working for Yam. Now Beppe does have the slap to get the full damage and the hard knockdowns. So Yam just cannot allow Beppe to actually charge his arms right now. That's the big thing. And yeah, Beppe is just gonna go for the rush, trying to guarantee the round here. We are very low on shield, and yeah, the moment the shield drops is the moment Yam is going to go down. Unfortunately, just does not have the movement necessary to get out of the way of that slap. And Bibi now going for the popper. Again, I feel like popper, like, I'm still waiting on the win confirmed to be fair. Yeah, I'm trying to go for an aerial rush. It is not going to land. Unfortunately, that is a little bit of a waste here on his side. A very good grab here from Bippy once again. Yeah, I'm definitely struggling to make a way in. He is going to be able to heal a little bit during those hard knockdown moments. But yeah, misreads the rush here. He's going to eat 355 damage for it. Just barely able to avoid that, that wake-up grab though. Yeah, I'm going for the 1-2. Trying to cover with his movement options with that chakram as much as possible. And we do have the parabola potentially for the stuns, but instead it is going to be Beppe getting the stuns in. Yam does have a rush. Beppe has to respect it. Being very jumpy right now. We're being very jumpy, and the popper is going to take it. And that is going to be the first game going to Beppe. Like, rather convincingly, I still don't think the mummy was the play here. I don't think the mummy was the play, or the stage wasn't the play. And I feel like Yam would benefit from having a little bit of a bigger stage. Potentially like Buster. Buster or Temple would be pretty good. I feel if he wants to stick with the mummy. Or no, we're just gonna stick it with Sparring. We're gonna stick it with Sparring Ring. But yeah, instead we are going to go for the Twin Tail. Which I feel is just gonna be better. Because of more movement options and obviously the slowdown aura. Like the slowdown aura should work really well, especially I feel against some straight Sparky hits. And so far it is showing that the change is definitely throwing Beppe for a loop right now. Getting the grab as well. The corner pressure is definitely on the level. Also getting some good paralysis hits with the Thunderbird. A good old email application doing work. But it is a little bit it is a trickier arm to use. Like, bird arms are a little bit trickier to use. But we are going to be able to find the rush. Not going to get quite the damage to kill here. But Beppe is in the corner. Kind of stuck here. Just stays in shield for quite a bit of time actually. And he's just going to get hit by the bird from above. And Yam is now on the board. Now going into round 2, if Yam can keep up the pressure that he was applying in this previous round, Beppe immediately avoiding the ice chain just by rushing right away, but unfortunately that is going to be kind of a waste of a rush. And here Yam is going to get punished, however, for his own rush. And now we're in the ice chain situation. Going to chain into the Thunderbird, into the grab. And yeah, Beppe definitely struggling right now against the Twin Tail. And to be fair, Twin Tail is one of the stronger characters in the game as well. Definitely has got some very good options overall. But Beppe is going to be able to find the dash guard into the rush in order to punish a punch that was a little bit too overcommittal from Yam. Now Beppe has the advantage. Yam trying to go for a cheeky grab, but unfortunately it will not land in time. And Pepe is going to be finding the slap right beforehand. And that means we are going to go into final round. Yeah, I'm sticking with the same setup. Going immediately for the rush, going immediately for the chip damage. That does mean that Pepe is going to have rush advantage here. Yeah, I'm going for the ice chain. Pepe is going to be able to jump out of it for the most part. And I'm just slow down that Fopper just to take it in the face. And yeah, now Yam is trying to find an opening here. We do have Pepe playing a little bit more defensively in this round. And now it's really Yam trying to find an opening as much as possible. He does have the health lead, and both players have a rush. But Pepe can still get some very good follow-ups from both of his arms. And Yam is going to be able to win the rush exchange here by just slightly sidestepping Pepe's own rush. Unfortunately, not going to be able to break that grab. 27 seconds on the clock. There's still... Everything is still possible for both players. We're back to this game of Yam trying to find an opening on Pepe. Gets the anti-air Thunderbird here. And the side Thunderbird is going to take it. We are going to go into a game 3. With Yam Strintel doing a lot of good work here. Also, I've just noticed, this is a coil-free zone today. We are not seeing the good doctor, it would seem today. At least not on winner's side. Which is definitely a change of pace. I guess both of our coil players just couldn't get here today, which happens. Fortunately, we only have 2 coil players in Europe. It's not that big of a problem, and Yam is going to be switching to Lola Pop for the game 3. Which is going to shift the pace of the game radically once again. We're gonna go to Buster Beach. Now here's the thing, with the air defense, Lola Pop is pretty strong overall. But against the weaviness of the Ribbon Girl, some of these matchups that I mastered the least, that I've mastered the least. And we do have a Scorpion on Yam's side as well. I'm trying to go for cheeky dot damage, and the battery is low on my controller, so I need to plug it in before it disconnects. Doing this real quick. There we go. Sorry about that, chat. We do need to recharge our controllers from time to time. Yeah, so far dot damage doing a lot of work here on Yam's side. The dot damage from the poison. Unfortunately, Yam is going to lose that rush here in kind of a silly way. But we're still doing very good overall. Pepe on his last leg, 13 seconds on the clock. There's still time to recover. We have Rush on Bippy's side. We are going to pop Rush, and we are going to get some massive damage in. Yam is now 3 seconds on the clock, has to get one last hit in order to win the round, and it's not going to happen. Bippy is just going to secure that round thanks to that Rush. And now we're going to go into match point in Bippy's favor. And this is where it's going to get a little bit more difficult. Yeah, so far Yam has once again the advantage after a very successful rush. Bippy kind of struggling right now to find any opening on that Lolo Pop, which is to be expected in a way, but still. And that is going to be a very good block here from the Lolo Pop player. We do have Bippy, though, starting to mount a comeback here. Yeah, I'm trying to go for the rush. Manages to catch with the second half of it. Yeah. Bippy trying to jump over the Tri-Blast a lot here. And Bippy is going to be able to find the rush here. Not going to be quite enough to get back onto the score. We have 9 seconds on the clock. And Yam is going to be able to find that side swipe with the Scorpion. We are going to go into the final round. This is getting intense, chat. Things are getting pretty intense overall. Yeah, Yam's still overall in control of the match right now. He is going to get hit here. We're overall very even, but it really feels like Yam right now has had the control of this game so far. Gets the Tri-Blast. Bippy is going to try and go for a cheeky confirm off of the popper. Tries to go for roll rush. He's only going to get a little bit of it because physics. Yeah, both players just trying to look for the opening. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to look for an opening specifically for the rush. There it is, with the corner pressure. Bippy is going to have that dot damage stack on him. He's now in critical. That's 25% to make up for it, but he is going to soon have rush back in order to potentially make it back. That was a very good grab overall by Bippy. I'm still finding some good hits in with the Scorpion. And Bippy is going to be able to find the rush, and it's not going to be quite enough to kill. But Yam is now in a very precarious situation himself. 5 seconds on the clock. Bippy playing extremely defensively, being very wavy, and avoids the rush, and that's going to be a victory for Bippy. Just barely making it out of here once again. We're getting some very close matches, chat. We're getting some extremely close matches today. Yeah, unfortunately, that it was a very unfortunate jump from Yam, who's just gonna have to eat this loss because of that. But yeah, that does mean our winners finals is going to be Rifa versus Bippy. But before that, we're going to be taking a little ad break. So don't change the channel.
Peggy 12.
And yeah, just so you know, I am also the main guy at Wolf TV, and we're doing fighting game tournaments on the regular. We are nearing the end of Season 3 at Wolf TV, and that does include our final tournament of Season 3, Battle for the Dance Season 3 Episode 19. We'll be featuring Breaker's Revenge. This is a tournament that is open to Europe and Maghreb, and is going to be played on Fightgate, so if you want to check it out, if you want to register, this will be on the 13th of July at 21 CEST. And also, we also have our Playing Grounds free play session, the final one of Season 3. Once again, will be on the 4th of July at 21:30 CEST, and we will be playing the demo for Resistance 2040X. Unfortunately, the demo doesn't have online, so we're going to be playing it on Parsec. The Parsec works very well, so fortunately that is it. That is a very good thing. Make sure to check it out. Resistance 2040X is like a mix between Nidhogg and Street Fighter, which I highly recommend. It is extremely fun. So if you want to play it with me, make sure to check it out on the 4th of July at 21:30 CEST and just join me for it. Parsec is free, so you can just like download Parsec now if you want to. But yeah, that does mean we are going to go into our winners finals, which is going to be Rifa versus Beppe. And we're just gonna go straight in. This will be a first to 3, just so you know. And you know that first to 3 does mean more time to adapt overall. And we are going to see Rifa stick with the Kid Cobra today. I mean, he's a nice character, so I'm not gonna blame him. Yeah, Rifa immediately going on the offensive. We are on Mausoleum. If you see that big, fat circle in the middle, starting to fissure, I think that's what Beppe really wants right now, but it is going to be tough to get with Ribbon Girl. I feel like there are characters that are more consistent at breaking. Open the trampoline on Mausoleum, and Ribbon Girl is definitely not one of them. But Ribbon Girl does use the trampoline very well, so it compensates. Rifa missing the rush here, unfortunately. And Beppe going on the offensive, going for stun into win, into confirm for rush. Very nicely done, does some very good damage here. I don't know why, I've never really thought of that possibility of just confirming stun into win into more confirms. But yeah, Beppe doing very well against Rifa's Cobra right now. Yeah, going to round 2, we do have still a little bit more defense here coming up from Beppe. There's a little bit more on the back foot here. Feels like Rifa is starting to kind of read Beppe's movement overall. And that's the big thing. I feel like both players' movement has to be very erratic in this matchup in order to avoid each other, because overall Ribbon Girl's air movement is going to be compensated by Cobra's ground movement. Still have Beppe doing excellent, avoiding the rush from Rifa, and gets even the Sparky hit into the grab, puts Rifa in critical. Rifa is finally going to find a revolver hit into the lockjaw. Now both players have to be playing very careful, and as I say that, Beppe is just gonna dash right into that lockjaw. In a bit of trying to get in. And River is going to switch to the Thunderbird. And I feel like the giant birdie can actually be scary, so gonna have to be careful about that. So very good rush here from River, catching Bippy's I think jump. Bippy going immediately for the rush, but River is just gonna barely have time to block it here. And yeah, River right now is in complete control of the pace of the match. River going in, delaying the rush in order to catch Bippy off guard. Very nicely done. And Bippy is going to need a good... I think he needs a rush hit right now. He needs to get the rush in. And as I say that, he's gonna miss it. Very unfortunate. 23 seconds on the clock. That's still technically enough time for Bippy to actually build up another rush, potentially. But Riff has such an advantage both in health and resources right now. It's going to be very tough. Yeah, 8 seconds on the clock. I don't see Bippy coming out of it alive, and yeah, he's just gonna get caught here by the rush. And that's gonna be first game going to Rifa. And now we're kind of just waiting on the counter pick. I still feel like this was a good showing overall from Pepe. But I'm not exactly sure what he needs to do to get around the Cobra. So we'll see. Also, I don't think we're gonna see Beppe switch, potentially. I think he's gonna stick with the ribbon goal all the way through. But I could be wrong. Yeah, Beppe definitely thinking very hard about this Sage counter pick. Going to go to DNA Lab to potentially pace down the game a little bit. Use those pillars for defensive play. Why is the battery still low? I'm plugged in. I'm literally plugged in. I'm not joking. I'm gonna try and get another cable chat. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Technical issues. It happens. We might need to take a break after that match, unfortunately, to figure out that control situation. Because it is telling me that the battery is low, but it won't recharge. So that's annoying. But yeah, back to the match for now. I do have Beppe being quite strong right about now. Quite a strong contender. Keeping Ripper in critical. Rifa is going to have Rush soon, going to be able to get the confirm off of the revolver. The Beppe is going to try and use the Rush as a final gambit in order to secure that round. And Rifa is going to be spending the Rush. And I think that's going to be, yes, round to Rifa. That is a round to Rifa for sure. My controller just won't recharge. That's a problem. Now going to round 2. We do have a rather even start. Rifa still sticking with the same setup. Yeah, overall, we do have Rifa trying to control space a little bit more. Especially now that the pillars are gone, and that BP cannot afford to be as defensive as before. If you're trying to go for some side steps, it's gonna get caught here by Rifa. And Rifa is going to go for the rush. He is going to lose that trade though. The BP is still in critical. Rifa's still in an excellent position, and yeah, the lockjaw projectile is going to do it here. And that's going to be another one for Rifa. I was like, yeah, we're going to round 3, but no, we're not going to round 3. Rifa just did the deed. Yeah, BP once again thinking hard. Well, this pick, and we are going to go to Buster Beach for game 3. Still the same characters. We're still sticking with the same characters. Not much of a surprise here. Yeah, Rifa immediately going on defensive, trying to catch BP in the other side, the other way of Buster Beach. And we're also pushing BP into that hot pocket right below as much as possible. But BP is going to just not allow that to happen. And Rifa is going to go for the full rush. He is on his way to a perfect right now. BP has to find a way in. Has to find something hit. There we go. Here's a hit. Here's a hit. That's how it starts. And unfortunately, gonna get to eat that revolver in the face. Now it's going to look very difficult. And yeah, the lockjaw. The lockjaw. Just here to clean up the act. And now we're on match point for Rifa. And yeah, I feel like the Thunderbird overall right here is pretty good at controlling horizontal space. Especially on a little bit of a tighter stage like this one. Ooh, Bebe finding a very good rush here. But unfortunately, physics are going to deny him the rest of it. And yeah, so far Rifa is fully in control. Gonna be able to land the rush thanks to that Thunderbird. That's 375 damage. Thanks to the huge damage of the lockjaw projectile. And Beppe is already in critical. It is not looking good for Italy right now. And that is going to be it. That is going to be the game to Rifa with a dominant 3-0 overall. Still, Beppe had some good ideas at the beginning of the match, but then couldn't capitalize on it. Anyway, chat, I'm gonna be back in just a little bit to figure out that whole controller issue. And then right after that, we'll be back for more EUAC. Just give me a minute. We're back! Sorry about that, chat. I had to plug in my controller and the controller wouldn't recharge unless it was specifically plugged into the Switch. But yeah, we're back. We're going to be going into loser semis with Yam versus Penzo. But yeah, I've recreated the lobby. So please join me back in the new lobby. It would seem our first game is going to be Temple Grounds. We're back into first to 2 territory, just so you know. Also, it's nice, it's not a rematch. But yeah, I kind of had to make sure that the controller wouldn't die on me. It is funky though, like you would think that the controller would be able to charge while in use, while being plugged to like a wall outlet or something. But apparently not. So thanks Nintendo for that. That's cool. And yeah, we're gonna go straight into Yam versus Penzo. We're going to see Springman versus Helix. Not the matchup I was expecting to see here. Not gonna lie. This is not the matchup I was expecting to see. But still, we do have a very simple to use character in Springman, especially with Double Toaster. This is about as vanilla Springman as you can get. Versus a much harder character to use, which is Helix. And right now, Penzo's Helix is proving to be very sleeky. Especially thanks to those pillars. Oof! Well, I think Penzo went a little bit too close to the sun with that attempt of a confirm. Still a very good catch on that rush, but that was a very presumptuous confirm attempt. I won't lie. So right now Penzo does have the advantage. And Yam is in rage mode. Still has to be careful. We still have to be careful about Yam's rage mode here. And he's just gonna get lasered in the face. But yeah, Penzo's Helix definitely doing work right now. I do kind of like, honestly, the dragon on Helix just because he is so weavy that even when he's using the dragon, like, you can see that he's using his tower form to actually weave around while the dragon is out, which I feel is a pretty good strategy overall. But Yam is going to be able to find that rush with the tribal and the toaster. Again, all reliables here. We're playing all reliables here on Yam's side. Penzo unfortunately going to miss the rush here. He's gonna get blocked. Yam's arms all looking weak. They are slowly recovering. But Yam is getting some good hits in, honestly, in this second round. And Penzo comes in with the laser. The laser is going to be very annoying to deal with, I feel like, for Yam. But Yam is going to be able to find a full rush in as well here on the jump in. Now we're playing from very far away for Yam. Just getting out of range of most arms. But Yam is going to get in critical nonetheless. Penzo is on 1 HP. Trying to go for a rush. Getting just a little bit of a rush. It's not going to be enough to get back the advantage. And Yam just has to play extremely defensively. And that is going to be the round to him. Yeah, and there we go. Just punch him in the face. Just in case, just punch him in the face. Yeah, lots of trading happening right now. Definitely going into favor of Penzo right now with that grab. Penzo going for, once again, a cheeky popper. I mean, I say once again, he just switched to the popper. Which I think could be a good idea to get some good damage in from those win confirms. But Yami here is going to be able to punish a little bit of a risky dragon. Good trade here for Yam. Penzo in critical. Now Yam is just playing extremely defensively. Penzo is the one who needs to go into the opening. Gets a hit in. Yam is in critical. Does have to respect Springman's rage mode. And yeah, Yam is just going to get him on the Oki with the rush. And that is going to be the first point going to Yam. Very nicely done. It's now up to Penzo to actually find a way back into this game. Potentially go back to the Cobra? And Yam is going to switch to Mechanica. Look, I appreciate the gesture, but you don't have to. To be fair, I would argue that Mechanica is mid in terms of tiers. Got some good tools, but still the fact that she's a heavy is not helping, to say the least. And we're going straight in. Penzo sticking with the Helix. He does think there is a way to make that Helix work. I mean, we've seen it before. Like, the Helix was working pretty well if he manages to get those good avoidances. But right now he's just getting hit. That's the big thing. Finally gets a cheeky counter hit here, thanks to the popper. Now he starts to apply his offense, but Yam does have like decent movement for a heavy with Mechanica. It's not the best, and she still has a big hurt box. But at least it's decent, you know. Penzo finding the rush here as well. Pushing Yam over there in the hot pocket. Yam responding right back with his own rush, 360 damage. And yeah, Yam definitely having fun right now with the board. Good anti-air hit here from Yam. The trade. Both players being very close in health. And that is going to be Yam just barely avoiding that last hit in order to avoid a double KO. And Yam is now on match point. And I'm getting burned already. Penzo is like, yeah, I'm gonna go for the hard knockdowns as much as possible. But right now Penzo is stuck in the very lip of Buster Beach. And it's not looking too great for him. He's even getting caught by the full, not quite the full rush here, but still a lot of damage from that rush. And Penzo going for the rush, gonna get punished for it. I'm just able to sidestep out of the way. And yeah, that's gonna be Penzo going out at 4th place in this tournament. As his Discord name would indicate. And yeah, moving on to losers finals. Still, that was a good attempt from Penzo with the Helix. It just wasn't enough against Yam and his random picks of the day. But hey, we'll make it work. We'll make it work. And that does mean our losers final is going to be Yam versus Beppe. And here's the thing, I don't think Beppe is going to resort to shenanigans here. Yam is looking a little bit unpredictable in this bracket. But I think Beppe using Ribbon Girl is a safe bet. And we're gonna go to Buster Beach for this first game. We're back into first to free territory, chat. And we're gonna go straight in. Yam going with the maximum Brassium. Max Brass. And Max Brass is a very scary character. Like, sure, he does have a big hurt box. which gets even bigger when he gets buff from a dash. But he is a very strong character with most of the tools Springman has, with the deflate, with the rage mode. Except in rage mode, he also gets armor because his rage mode makes him buff. And that's a big thing I think we're gonna see Yam fish for here, is this buff mode that we can see right here on your screen, which gives him armor. But then again, we knocked out by a single slap from Beppe. Okay, that doesn't mean he can just like go through most of the tri-volt hits. But still, ooh, very nice confirm here by Beppe from the stun. It's very tight, like it's kind of hard to get that, but now we do have Rage Mode Brass to contend with. He doesn't have that much HP, so the armor shouldn't matter too much. And Yam is just going to waste his rush here. And yeah, the trade is just going to be favorable to Beppe, who's going to be able to take one on the board. And yeah, again, Yam fishing for that buff mode. That gives him a perma charge and armor. He does need a hard knockdown, ideally, to set up though. I think that's what he's looking for right now. Or he can just back up. Back up just a little bit to get his temporary buff mode. Yeah, Yam playing very defensively right now. He is, however, going to have to eat that slap. Yeah, Yam overall being very careful, gets the stun into grab confirm here in order to get back into the game. And Beppe is just going to pop rush, and Yam is going to use the rush defensively in order to avoid Beppe's own rush and even get a little bit of his own from the jump back. Very good spacing overall by Yam. Yam in max mode. He's in rage mode. Beppe has to be careful. But yeah, just overwhelm him with punches. And that is going to be a win for Beppe, who's got now 1 point on the board. Now I do expect Yam to go for a lot of shenanigans right now. Trying to go for some very cheeky switches. But I think at some point he just might be playing himself, honestly. Like, the brass wasn't working. Like, you can see that Beppe has a lot of experience against brass. Overall. But I'm starting to think that Yam is just playing random in the background. At least against a smaller pool of characters. Yeah, Yam's gonna go Helix for this one. Okay. Now Helix on DNA could be very interesting. Because I do think Helix benefits a lot from the pillars while they're here. Just being a pillar himself. So he can hide pretty well, but Beppe does have the slap to go around that. Good catch here with the popper. You can see the Ice Dragon doing work in preventing Beppe from moving the way he wants to. Beppe going for those cheeky side slaps here. Not trying to go for pillar break. I do feel like Bibi does like to play around pillars as well, so it would be in his best benefit to not completely break the pillars. But that's already one pillar down, and Yam is completely exposed right now. Going to delay the rush, but unfortunately the physics are going to deny him most of it. Pepe also going to have some wimpy results from that rush. And Yam is going to be able to get the freeze into the grab and get that round. Now getting ready for round 2. We still have like 5 pillars on, which is a rarity, honestly, for a match on DNA Lab. Back pillar is going to go down here. Bippe going to go and open up that pillar. Try and get some more consistent roaster hits, honestly. Because the roaster is going to be very deadly as a direct weapon of mass destruction. But only if it has a clear pathway, I feel like. Like, sure, you can control the roaster very well. But its strongest suit is still when it has a clear path. And both players just... Ooh! The rush rate going at the advantage of Bippe here. Interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Yam just ended up falling into the end of Bippe's rush here. Both players playing from mid-distance. Yam is going to push back with the popper, and that's a grab, and that's going to be a kill for Bippe. Yeah, very good avoidance of Yam's own grab here from Bippe. And with the counter grab, and now the Sage is completely clear of all pillars. Now both players trying to find a way to approach here, as they are just barely out of range of each other. Like, just ever so barely. It's definitely a movement battle. Yam here is going to be able to get the catch. It's looking very tough. Yam going for the rush, managing to punish the tri-vault here and get the advantage in this movement battle. 54 seconds on the clock. Bippe is going on the offensive. Yam pushes him back. But Bippe is trying to trap Yam in the corner right now. Stun. Misses the stun confirm, unfortunately. But that's still some massive shield damage onto Yam. Yam, however, is going to be able to recover pretty handily. And Yam going for the rush once again. Bippe trying to avoid it. Is still going to get hit for 120 damage. 23 seconds on the clock. Yeah, both players just playing jump rope right now. Feels like. And yeah, Bippe is just gonna accept the grab here. And Yam is going to get one on the board. And now we go into Bippe's counter pick. Not exactly knowing what Yam is going to do here. Never mind, Yam is just going to switch to Springtron. It is definitely getting quite interesting. We're gonna go to Sparring Ring. Now we're gonna go just to sparring ring. And immediately Yam going on the offensive. To be fair, it is sparring ring, so that does help a lot. And yeah, I feel like Yam overall in this stage is not going to be able to use much Springtron's unique attribute, which is the AMP. Bibi still has to respect it, but even in a hard knockdown, I feel like it would be way too close to actually activate the AMP. But instead, we're still going to rely on the old Springman tactics of deflecting every punch that's coming your way. And yeah, Yam going for the rush to finish off that round. Doesn't want to take any chances. And I've just realized that we do see a Slamamander as well on Yam. Yam really trying to go for as many win arms as possible in this turning. I do also like slamming into Native. Ooh, very nice activation here from Bepe, recognizing that Yam was going for the EMP. And he's just able to activate and then have the perfect timing to throw out his rush. But right now Yam still has the health advantage though. Going to go for some cheeky dash guards on Yam's side. And Yam's gonna activate delay the rush in order to catch Bepe off guard. Bepe is in critical. And yeah, the nade in the face is gonna do it. And that's gonna be another quick point to Yam with the Springtron. Very nice. And Yam is going to be switching to the Min Min for the next match. Which again, I would kind of expect Bepe to go for sparring. Min Min will have a lot less difficulty setting up the Dragon Arm overall than Springtron setting up the EMP. Yeah, we're sticking with sparring. But I feel like the game plan would still be the same on Bepe's side, which would be to try and go on the offensive. And yeah, we're gonna go for Phoenix and Ice Dragon on Yam's side. And using the Ice Chain to actually charge up the Dragon Arm. Good freeze. And Phoenix, and that's the big thing as well. As opposed to Smash, the Dragon Arm does not have a time limit. You can still knock it out with a hard knockdown or a grab, but it does not have a time limit. Yeah, Bepe wasting all of his resources right now trying to get Yam's shield as down as possible. And Yam going for the advancing guard, for the dash guard here, and catching Bepe off guard and sleeping. Manages to set up the Dragon Arm again as well. Using the Ice Dragon to completely shut down Bepe's movement as much as possible. And we've got the Phoenix coming in from the sky doing some massive damage. Bepe is in critical. Has to be very careful. Needs to find a hard knockdown. There it is. In order to get back into the game. And yeah, that's just going to be that rush blocked from Yam. We are weak on the right arm, but it will not matter. We're just going to jump in and get the rush and get the Phoenix hit in order to finish off that round. And Yam is now on match point. And now Yam is switching to the roaster on the Dragon Arm. And so far it is working. Again, Roaster being very quick is a factor. And I also feel like potentially being able to use Vip's nade against him would be quite interesting as well. Ooh, but that's a very nice catch though with the rush from Bippy on the landing. And yeah, right now Yam is on the back foot. Bippy completely adapting to Yam's min-min playstyle. Again, that's kind of where you can see the matchup and player experience as well. That Bippy seems way more comfortable with Yam's min-min. It was a much more common pick overall from Yam. And a lot of what we've seen today. Yam getting the roaster hit. 10 seconds on the clock, Bippy being very defensive. And Yam going for the rush and unfortunately is going to not gain that rush trade. And Bippy is going to be able to buy himself another round by using the rush to get out of this sticky situation. I'm getting a good anti-air here on Bippy. We are sticking with the roaster. I do like this choice. We did have a pretty close game before. And roaster is just all reliable at this point, so yeah. I'm barely avoiding that grab, honestly. And managing to punish that rush as well without using his own rush. Very nicely done. And catches the jump as well. From Bippy, that's 365 damage, and now Bippy is stuck in the corner. Gonna have to try and find a way out. But that Phoenix is just there, menacing and preventing any false movement from Bippy. We are going to find the hard knockdown though and get rid of that Dragon Arm. Preventing Yam from getting the full momentum, but it will not matter! And Yam will be moving on to Grand Finals to face off against the King of Europe, Rifa. Still very nice showing from Bippy. Unfortunately fell a little bit through during the later part of this losers final. But it happens. I guess it's the pressure. It's how it is. And so we will be able to move on to Grand Finals. But just before that, we are going to be taking a short ad break. And we'll be back right after that.
Peggy 12.
And yeah, just so you know, obviously I'm still with Wolf TV. We are at the end of Season 3 at Wolf TV. And so we have 2 more events to propose to you. One of them is, of course, our final tournament. Our final Battle for the Den tournament for Season 3. Which will be featuring Breaker's Revenge. It is open to anyone in Europe and Maghreb. And will be played on 5K. And this will be on the 13th of July at 21 CEST. You can register right now by typing in !WolfTV in the chat and accessing the challenge link in the chat. If you're interested in, you know, playing Breaker's Revenge, maybe discovering a new game, talking with new people, you could. And speaking of discovering new games, the last Playing Grounds free play session of Season 3 will be held on the 4th of July at 21:30 CEST. And we will be playing the brand new Nidhogg / Street Fighter Cross, which is called Resistance 2040X. It's a very fun game with futuristic settings and some very nice mechanics overall. As I said, it's like Nidhogg meets Street Fighter in a way. We will be playing the demo over on Parsec. Parsec is free and you can download Parsec right now. So feel free to join me to play this game on the 4th of July at 21:30 CEST. But yeah, with that we are going to be ready to go into Grand Finals. As we are waiting right now for Yam to get back from feeding the cat. Yeah, this is going to be Rifa versus Yam, which is a matchup we haven't gotten today. Still a classic matchup, but not one we've gotten today yet. And with Yam being very unpredictable right now, he's sure to keep Rifa on his toes. And we're going to start on Buster Beach as well. So Rifa is an excellent competitor, very well versed in the ways of the game, and especially against the bite and bark matchup. Yeah, I don't know how this one is gonna go, honestly. Still, we are seeing Cobra Rifa Cobra. We're just sticking with it. Yeah, I'm using the C key. Yeah, I think it's just going to take just a little bit. My fear is that it's just going to take just a little bit for Rifa to adapt at every start of round, potentially maybe one full round to Yam's pick. And then potentially get a steamroll like that. Like Yam kinda stuck in the hot pocket right now. He is going to be able to go for rush and get a full rush in for 370 damage thanks to that Seeky damage. We're gonna get back into the game though. And yeah, just like that, like just a few Seeky hits, honestly, are more than enough to get back into a game that was looking like a steamroll at some point. And yeah, Rifa has to be very careful about that Seeky right now. I feel overall like Lockjaw and Revolver are pretty slow. So yeah, against the Toaster, it's a little bit tricky. And immediately going into round 2 with a huge hit, gets the Seeky stun as well and gets the grab. And now Rifa is the one stuck in the lip. In the very lip. Yam trying to go for a cheeky confirm, doesn't get it. Still gets a very good. Still gets some very good damage from that rush though. Rifa is starting to try and mount a comeback, but Rifa isn't critical. Has to be very careful. He is going to get the self Seeky though on Yam, and that's why Seeky is such a high risk, high reward arm. That if it blows up in your face, you're just paralyzed. Now Yam is stuck in the lip. That's a grab from Rifa. Not going to be quite enough to kill despite the higher grab damage from Cobra. Bark is down. Rifa is going to have to eat the Seeky explosion here. And the dash block is not gonna work out for Yam here, as he's going to dash right into the Lockjaw itself after avoiding the projectile. It is tricky, you know, it is tricky. Very good Seeky hit though in this third round. Will get an early advantage and a very nice rush punish here as well. And Rifa's already lost 50% of his health. disabling Bark. He is in a very bad position. But we are going to push Yam into the lip. Bark is down. Yam is still in the lip. Trying to get out of pressure from Riffa. Riffa is on critical. And again, Yam trying to go for some very cheeky confirms here. While Riffa is just able to block him. And Riffa is not respecting Bark enough here in this interaction. He's gonna get a hit. Ooh, and the rush here is going to be denied by that Seeky explosion. And now Riffa's playing bullet hell. Pretty much. Does have to contend with Bark as well. Bark is down for a little bit, which should help. But Yam is able to stall out Bark's return, who's immediately going down again. 11 seconds on the clock. Yam going for the rush to try and get the kill. And Riffa is going to get him on 1 HP. And I think that's a draw. Yes, that is a draw. Both players at 1 HP, and that is going to be a draw. And we're going to move on to the extra round. And now it's all about endurance. Yeah, I'm getting hit by the lockjaw projectile here. Some massive damage. The shield is very much weak here on Yam's side. Bark cannot catch a break either. And the arm is down on Yam's side. That's going to be a free rush for Riffa. Bark just waiting patiently for Yam to just get out of hit stun. Bark is down. Yam on his last leg. That extra round really doesn't make him any, doesn't give him any favors. It just allows Riffa to get the self-seeky hit on him and finally get the first game of this grand finals. Now, as a reminder, Yam does have to win 3 games now and then 3 games later to take the tournament. Riffa only has to win 1 first to 3. So now Riffa is in an excellent position. But we are going to go into Yam's counter pick and we won't even know what character he's going to pick. Which is a big question. We're going to go to sparring ring for the next game. And what is Yam's pick gonna be? Still thinking about it, I think. It's still thinking about it. He's definitely still thinking about it. It's a tough choice, to be fair. And Yam is going to go with the Ninjara. And yeah, Riffa immediately going on the offensive. He can do so after all. And yeah, Riffa is just being relentless right now. That's the problem. You have to contend with a Riffa who has all the rights here to be extremely aggressive. What is Yam gonna do? He's gonna be able to shut down that rush. But will it be enough? No. There's the grab. There's the grab. There's the grab. It's done. It's done. And yeah, a little bit of lag here on the spectate. It happens. But very good rush here from Yam. Gets a try less rush. And gets a lot of aggression here on Riffa. And the roles are being reversed right now. And then Riffa just gets a hit. And The steamroll begins. That's a grab. That's gonna be back to the wall. Back to the corner. Yam trying to escape as much as possible with the teleports. Rifa, however, is going to have to eat those Tri-Blast hits. Tri-Blast being very deadly, very quick, and very deadly, honestly, online. Because it can be even quicker because of the lag. And yeah, that is another very good set of hits from Rifa. Yam on the back foot once again. And Rifa trying to go for the aerial rush. Or catches with the lockjaw! With the lockjaw projectile. Just barely. And then the Thunderbird on the other side. Of course. And that's going to put Rifa at 2-0. Again, Rifa in a very good position right now. This is a big thing. And now we're gonna go to Temple Grounds. What could potentially be the final game of the day. And again, we have to wait until and see what Yam's doing. Now Yam's gonna go for the Misango, trying to take down Rifa with his own main, and we even have the Megawatt on the right arm on Yam's side. It is a very interesting set and definitely a very Rifa set, I will say that much. You know, Rifa's just sticking with the Cobra, with the Cobra. It worked so far, there's no reason to change it right now. Good paralysis from Rifa. Unfortunately not going to be able to do anything due to the Temple Grounds pillars. And now Yam is in yellow, no longer in yellow. That's the big thing with Misango. He can get the mask, but if he is getting hard knocked down, then he loses them immediately. I do like the red mask right now. I do like the red mask. I think it could be the one that could make this matchup work. Rifa's just going to be able to get the grab here. And Yam's just gonna die here. A little bit miserably, but it happens. And now we are on match point. On tournament point even. For Rifa. We have a clearer view here of the Temple Ground stage. There's one pillar left. And now Rifa, I think, is just gonna try and punish all those mask freeze. We have Yam in blue. We're going to not keep the blue, no, stick with the blue. Getting lost with the blue. And getting frozen. Well, not frozen, but stunned. And now we have Yam in yellow, potentially able to get something cheeky like a rush that's going to be invincible, but not anymore. Rifa very aware of what Misango can do. Not gonna let Yam get any kind of opportunity. As Yam is trying to go in, going to get his arm kicked to the curb. And Yam trying to go for a desperate rush, but it will not land. And that is going to be yet another EU Arms Challenge, won by the King of Europe himself, Rifa. But yeah, congratulations Rifa for taking yet another EU Arms Challenge. Still looking completely and utterly unbeatable in many ways. Yam with a good second place, kind of playing random, I won't lie. Like always surprising us with the character picks all the time. And Beppe with a very nice 3rd place. And Penzo, forever cursed to be 4th. Forever cursed to be 4th. But yeah, GG's everyone, that was very fun, and that was a very good tournament.